Welcome to the Demoted Live Show!
Welcome to the Demoted Live Show. We are live here for you, San Francisco, ZoomInfo.
What is up, Motorheads?
And Fletcher.
And our one fan is here, and he is taking over. He can't stop. Hi,
Fletcher.
This is like when all the fans are throwing just like bras and undies at us, and Fletcher's like, I gotta give you a kiss, and I just
let me give you a little kiss.
Give him a little kiss.
We
are under attack by a vicious animal.
Okay.
For those who are listening, there was a small dog. It's Fletcher.
It's just a little mini doodle. He's about 2 pounds.
He's the tiniest little doodle.
He's so cute.
Sweet guy, though.
Okay.
Sweet guy.
We did a freaking live show.
We went ahead, we went out, and we did it.
We went ahead and we did the thing.
Yeah.
We did the thing.
They weren't ready. We gave it to them.
And we didn't tell you guys about it because we were worried. We were a little nervous.
We were pretty sure it would fail.
Maybe it won't work. Yeah. And it almost did.
we were embarrassed.
It was really close to failure, but it just so might have succeeded.
Before we get any deeper into this, let's just go ahead and drop the music.
DJ Ross.
Demoted.
Hold on.
POV.
Okay, that's my mouth. POV, you're in my mouth, and in my brain. That's the sound my brain makes when I'm thinking too. Okay, so just to kind of paint the picture here, we've been reading reviews of the podcast. I want to read this review.
We love getting feedback from you guys. Thank you. We get constant, and some good, some bad. And this was the review of someone who attended the live show.
Yep.
So we want to give a little firsthand experience outside of our yapping.
All right, this was posted by someone who attended the live show and then posted their review on LinkedIn, which again, we do love feedback, especially when it's nice. Okay, this is from someone named Cindy. Last Friday, we attended Demoted, hosted by Corporate Bro and Corporate Natalie. They put ZoomInfo CEO Henry Schuck on the hot seat. While the roasting was funny AF, the comedians humanized and edified him in what felt like a living room chat. Henry shared his incredible journey of building ZoomInfo, a testament to the idea that if you outwork your competitors, you can come out on top. Things got spicy when the host poked fun at some not-so-glowing GlassDoor reviews. Henry's down-to-earth responses flipped the script. Listen to the live podcast and get out your popcorn. The host kept it lively with some bold questions like, what's the richest thing you've ever done? And what stimmies do you prefer? And stimmies is what we call stimulants. Henry's unfiltered responses gave us a genuine glimpse into his personality. Cherry on top, I got to hang out with the whole executive team. Dope.
Thanks, Cindy.
Thanks, Cindy. You're a ledge.
You're a ledge.
You're a friggin' ledge.
I'm so glad you enjoyed the live show as much as we did.
Yes, because honestly, that was exactly what she said was our goal.
Completely.
We didn't prep. We did not prime anybody for that.
We paid her, of course, to write that.
A handsome amount of money. We gave her a lot of Chom's beef sticks.
That's amazing. Thank you for saying, and that is the goal.
That was the goal.
We wanted you to walk away feeling like you learned something. You got to talk with the exec team. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's give our take.
Yeah.
We are going to do a little recap of our Demoted live show.
Yes, we are.
And we want to talk about it because we want to talk about kind of our goals with Demoted, our hopes and dreams for this live series. I think Ross and I have been texting and talking a lot about we're a little scared of AI. We're a little scared of being replaced. We're a little scared of content creators just kind of
the race to the bottom.
Yeah, race to the bottom. An AI bot can probably do it better, sexier, funnier than us.
Yeah.
But you know what you can't replicate, at least now with current state technology? A live show and a live audience and meeting you all and interviewing a CEO.
Yep.
And just being on the road and doing that and
laughing with people.
Laughing with people. Exactly.
It's lovely to see. So yeah, we've been planning this now, or we planned it for several months.
Yeah, in secret. I'm sorry we didn't tell you guys.
Yeah, we were very nervous. We didn't know how it was going to go. I mean, the concept was basically this live a Demoted podcast episode,
except 200 people watching us.
Yes, like fucking zoo animals.
Totally.
We're just sitting there. We're like Natalie's monkey forest.
Exactly, in Bali. Yep, just watching as the monkeys play up on stage.
Play is a generous term, but yes.
Yes.
And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it went great.
I think it went really well.
So let's talk about prep for a second. Obviously this is not something that just happens willy-nilly. There's a lot of meetings. We sat in a lot of prep meetings with the ZoomInfo team. We did a lot of research on the company itself.
On Henry, we had meetings. We're running through the script. We, of course, have to get the questions approved. I know the point is to make it seem like it's all done on the fly, but these questions have gone through multiple rounds of review. We're making sure Henry's seen them. Henry's comfortable with them. There are no surprises. I even joked on stage, Henry's oh, I don't have an answer to that. I'm like, Henry, we gave you these questions 3 weeks ago. Really, man?
Yeah.
You don't have, we could have scratched it. Yeah. We could have taken it off. You don't, okay. Thank you.
Exactly. And I it felt like, I know he didn't want to control us. ZoomInfo didn't want to control most of the stuff that we said.
No.
And we were still able to ask, I think 98% of the things that we wanted to ask. And even the ones that we weren't allowed to ask, we just needed to rework it so it wasn't as hard or wasn't as like crude.
Yeah.
And we could still ask the same things.
Exactly. And so we're in the green room, just like sweating, stressing, eating.
We get there 3 hours
barfing.
early, 3.5 hours early.
Yeah. We're just like in this like tiny, there was a little kid in the green room.
Eating a Mickey D's, a little Happy Meal.
She's like, hi, what are you doing here? We're like, hi, Roxy. We were hoping to sit here.
Yeah, this is the room they told us to go to. Yeah. So you cool
What are
if
you doing here? She's like, my dad's the stage manager. So that was kind of through us. We're like in this really, kind of raunchy mindset.
Yeah.
Here's Roxy with a Happy Meal.
She's like 7 years old. We're like, sorry, no groupies.
Yeah, like
please.
that kind of threw us. Then we sit, we're like running through the script. Henry joins like a couple hours later. Of course, he doesn't come that early. He's, in and out quick, easy.
Shows up at the 11th hour.
Shows up. He's like, what are we doing here? I'm kidding. No, but he was ready to go. We run through the questions. We prepped him. Ross chose to eat Brussels sprouts to make sure the green room was actually unlivable and unbearable.
It smelled absolutely awful. We had our friends, your parents came back there.
We had our friends
came back there. Your friends came back there.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it stinks back here. We're
no,
like,
it stunk.
Honestly, that's the Brussels sprouts with the cheese on it.
It's just emitting.
Covered in cheese and aioli.
And so then Ross and I are like, running through potential jokes, add-ons. We're just like, I don't know. Like our mindset is, I think we were both a little nervous.
I'm chewing up an Adderall.
Yeah,
because I needed to hit now. Washing it down with a Red Bull.
I needed to hit now.
I can't do that extended release. I need it now.
I need to empty out those beads and chew them.
Yeah, and that's what I did.
There was a lot going on by that. We don't abuse substances.
No. We use them when we need to use them.
Totally.
I needed it.
Medical purposes.
Well, yes, again, you got to come out hot.
Totally.
And we need to come out. And when you get there 4 hours early, like we did, you have a lot of time to get like.
We're like the Kentucky Derby. We're like the horse in the stable. Just let us out. Let us run.
Please. We got to roam free.
I know. We're even in the beginning, we're like, should we go out there and say hi to people?
I know.
As if no, we shouldn't show ourselves. Like,
should we sit in this little 4x4 room together and just stare at the mirror?
I think, yeah.
Sure.
I think we should do that. Totally.
Why not?
So the prep was great. And then we got into the actual show.
Yeah.
And what we did, for those of you who weren't able to attend, we had, because you didn't know about it.
And we didn't invite you.
We had the CEO of ZoomInfo, Henry Schuck. We interviewed him. And Ross and I did pretty much our typical like demoted outline. We did a corporate confession, a dear demoted. We did demoted in the end, except we had paddles where the audience was able to participate.
And these paddles were definitely really jank.
They were V1.
They were V1
of paddles. It was a popsicle stick.
Yep.
And a two-sided piece of flimsy paper.
Yes, but it did have the orange and navy sort of theme going on, promoted, demoted on either side. So you just held up the side of the paddle that you either promoted or demoted.
Definitely.
Very simple stuff.
Very simple. It's, it goes without saying.
It goes without saying.
And we learned a lot. I think from a production standpoint, like for example, we walk out, lights are on. It looks like a lunch and learn.
It looks like a lunch and learn, shitty bar mitzvah.
Doctor's office, shitty bar mitzvah.
The music doesn't play.
We're like, oh my God, okay, this is starting. I sit in my seat. I'm like, I love how bright it is here. Thank you guys. Can we crank up the lights for the people in the crowd? I'm staring at everyone's soul individually.
Yeah. It was like back in the day when they turn on the light, when they turn on the lights at the end of the bar, like night of the bar.
Totally.
And you see everyone's looking like a gremlin.
Yeah. And they're like, get out.
And we're like,
bar's closing.
Don't tell me twice.
No, I'm out.
Everyone
I'm out of
looks
here.
horrible.
Post game at my place.
Yeah, exactly. Except it was like 7 p.m.
7 p.m. It was still kind of light out. And so lights were on, music doesn't play.
Yep.
So we're just like, our only cue in our mind is like music plays. We're in our mode.
Come out with energy. Just like the music will be.
Just like the music. Oh. Silence.
Silence
is deafening.
Silence. But then naturally what I did was like, I can save this. Let me pick up the mic and be like, what's up, Motorheads? Which I did, except the mic didn't work.
And then Ross's mic, of course, didn't work.
Just so classic.
The show went really well for the 50% that people could hear of me talking. Yeah. The other 50% of Ross, unfortunately, you'll have to wait for the second live show.
We did have some lip readers there. Thank God they
were able to. No, but so few production errors. The audio, they come to us 5 minutes into our green room, 5 minutes before we're doing our pregame, prep. Yeah. And they come in, they're like, just so you know, the audio is not going to be able to record for a podcast.
Cool. That was not why we wanted to do this at all.
No, that's good because we only did like 9 tech checks in production meetings before. Yeah. So that's good. So the clips we're going to hopefully splice into this are not our clean, crisp audio that we were hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, our true goal was to make it an episode, like a episode that sounds just like what you're listening to right now, and it sounds like somebody was holding up their phone in the back of the room
completely.
And
now instead we have to sit down and do actually more work and recap it verbally for you guys instead of just playing it. So here we are.
yeah, literally, exactly. I mean, like, let's walk it back to the very beginning though. Like, why did we want to do a live show? And beyond the fact that it's fun and we get to see people and humans doing human stuff, I think we've had a lot of discussions about this and sort of the intentionality behind what we believe this live show can become outside, of course, our followers, making babies together, which is still a huge goal,
dream, aspiration. I mean, I think I've always seen Between Two Ferns. That's kind of my guiding light.
Yeah.
And I've always been so curious about could I do something like that?
Right.
Even before meeting you. And then when we started this podcast, I was like, there's so much potential to invite someone else on stage, a business leader, and really toe that line between I'm super uncomfortable, I'm laughing my ass off, and I'm actually learning something.
Yeah.
And I think we did that very well.
Yeah. I think shockingly so. And you never know who you're going to get as a guest. It's always the wild card, right? And I think we've sort of controlled for that up until this point. That's why we haven't had guests. We just don't know who's going to be interesting. What's the audio going to be like, which we're still figuring out the audio, obviously. But for Henry, I think he crushed it. I think at the end of the day, for us building off of Between Two Ferns, for anyone out there who's watched or listened to Hot Ones, which is the hot wings,
totally,
where celebrities go on and talk about their lives or talk about what they're working on while eating hot wings. It's famous because the guy who hosts it is an incredible interviewer, and it's clear he does the research. And so I think trying to be comedic yet asking funny questions in the sort of business space that says we did research, we understand the company deeply, we understand the human here. There's a huge cross-sectionality of business humor and entertainment, like you said.
Totally. And Ross and I aren't here to just roast people, right? I think it actually put Henry in a really good light. Our goal is
we're the jokes.
Yeah. And let's give you a platform to brand yourself as a human, really. Yeah. Let's give you the opportunity to show these sides of yourself that you would never reveal at an all hands or in these really corporate settings.
Right. I mean, so few people ever get to know who their CEO is as a person. We see the title, we see the emails come in, we see the speeches at all hands, calls and kickoffs and so forth. But how do we bring a little humanity to these folks who are also trying to do the best they can?
Yeah.
And we like to roast CEOs. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of my content in particular is making fun of layoffs and other things like that. But I also know that businesses got to do what businesses got to do sometimes.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of courage for a CEO to trust themselves and their brand and the company they've built enough to get on that stage. Shout out to Henry. Yeah. And we left and everything the entire audience was saying was Henry was amazing.
He was amazing.
He really, despite us, ripping you and asking you the most uncomfortable questions, which we'll get into, we'll share kind of what we went through. He absolutely owned it. And in fact, he would turn it around. And we had a section on GlassDoor reviews that we pulled, of course, all the negative ones. He had a really great response. He's like, yeah, your first year here is going to be really tough, but you're going to learn some things and then stick it out and you'll absolutely, it'll pay off.
Yeah. So let's get into some of the stuff and some of the content that we talked about. We obviously couldn't go without reading some GlassDoor reviews. We did a little research.
We sent our team out. We're find the most awful, horrible one. And we're actually thinking that they would be you can't say this one.
Yeah.
And they didn't. Henry was
they're all fair game.
All fair game.
Yeah.
They're publicly available. Totally fair game. I was like, oh, all right.
Say less.
Say less.
Yeah.
We're on it.
So we went out there and we got 5 GlassDoor reviews. They were all hilariously negative.
Yeah.
And we kind of took out single bites of each one. It was worst company I've ever worked at.
It's a sweatshop. Run while you can.
Run while you can.
And we teed it off with of course we're going to read some positive, some negative. We want to give a really good mix of what's out there.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of giving fake reassurance that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then we get into it and we read 4 that are horrible.
So audio pending, let's roll the tape and hear a few of the GlassDoor reviews we read.
This one's titled Run Away While You Still Can. The absolute worst company culture, which is sad. It used to be pretty great.
If you had just brought in that other CEO, yeah. Think about it.
This one's titled It's a Sweatshop. And it says, join if you're hoping to get canned fast.
Wait, no, they wrote something in the pros section too.
Oh, yes, it says...
Under pros.
Nothing I can think of.
And then Ross actually reads this review. Let's roll the audio.
This one actually is good. Seriously. It says, strong company, better leadership, CEO has great biceps, and written by Henry S.
Did you read that?
So that was actually a really fun segment that we did. And beyond Henry's response afterwards being honestly tremendous. I mean, we basically said this is something we're going to have to do every time.
Absolutely.
You
It
know,
totally landed. People
hit
are
so
howling, like, and everyone gets it. Like,
Yeah.
everyone gets GlassDoor is so funny. Like, just scrolling it.
Yeah.
And you just get it. It's funny. And
There's like nothing they can do about it, right? It's just
of
like someone
course,
can go say whatever
everyone's
they
going to
want.
be upset.
You
Like,
know how Yelp goes too.
yeah.
It's like review sites and so forth. But
and some companies wear that. Like, they're just
yeah.
like, oh yeah, sucks to work here.
yeah, what do you want?
Sorry.
Don't be a little B.
You want to
Sorry,
make,
we don't
you want to make a lot of money?
Yeah.
And-
Which is fair.
Yeah.
Right. You know, not every company's perfect. And I think Henry really leaned into that.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then there was another section we did, which was called the type of guy, which of course, if we were interviewing a gal, it'd be the type of gal. But in this case, this was an opportunity for Natalie and I just to make jokes. And we said, basically, Henry, we're going to read off 5 or 6 different archetypes of a human being. You can't respond until we're done.
No.
And it's just called Henry's the type of guy who, and then we would just go in.
Here was the type of guy segment. Let's roll the audio.
Ross and I thought of a few like general archetypes to describe you. We've only met a few times. These are just kind of from looking at you in your LinkedIn photo. Okay?
Yeah,
So Ross, you want to kick us off?
sure. Henry's the type of guy who will hold the door open for himself and then say, don't mind if I do.
Henry's the type of guy who will watch an old webinar of himself and say, God, look at that jawline.
Henry's the type of guy who claims to be a serious CEO but still wears dinosaur PJs.
And Henry's the type of guy who ordered and ate a full rotisserie chicken in the green room before starting this, and his drink tonight was a Diet Red Bull vodka. Did any of you guys order that?
The Diet Red Bull, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of Diet Red Bull.
One guy.
No one raised their hand.
Henry responded with, I didn't actually eat a full rotisserie chicken. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what he responded.
Yeah.
He was like, shut up.
It's still in the back. He was nervous. He did order a whole rotisserie chicken though.
And yeah.
He was like, it's not that many calories. It's just protein.
And his drink was a Diet Red Bull vodka.
Yes.
So those were true. Actually, that
ordered by 2 whole people.
Exactly.
We asked the audience, did anyone order this? And
Hey,
there were 2 hands and one of them was so reluctant.
silence. The one was my brother's roommate who I roasted in the beginning. So that was a hilarious segment. It was really great to do that.
And then lastly, the last thing I'll say, obviously we spent a lot of time roasting Henry. But the goal wasn't just to tear ZoomInfo apart, tear Henry apart. We wanted to give him an opportunity, and we played into a bit. You know, we pretended this comms team gave us a hard time. They actually kept their comms team uninvolved, which is shocking. We were talking to a publicly traded company. If something crazy happened, which it wasn't going to because we weren't going to let it, but you're talking about something that could affect a stock price.
Totally.
If he said something, you know, off color or you know, potentially inappropriate, which he didn't do. He absolutely crushed it. So
we asked a few long form questions too. We're not sure how great the audio is of what we can splice in here, but we do want to mention the rapid fire section. So Ross and I basically went back and forth. This was really customized to kind of who Henry was and what we were allowed to ask and what we weren't allowed to ask. A funny bit of the night was that we actually did Barry's boot camp the morning before
oh my God.
the live show with Henry. So we just had so much content of like, Henry is a super fit guy. He shows up like he's, you know, oiled up, dripping sweat. He's on 12 speed for the recovery. Like we were just making so much fun of him.
40-pound dumbbells.
Yeah, just like he was not messing around. But we did this rapid fire section, and here were some of the questions we asked.
Let's get into some rapid fire quick questions.
You're worth $1.59 billion, or at least that's what Google says. Is that accurate?
There are a lot of numbers floating out there. You should Google it and pick the one that you like the most.
One said like 900. I was like, eh.
Speaking of billionaire status, what's the richest thing you've ever done?
We have a vacation house in Massachusetts, and their property that abuts it became available for sale, and I didn't want a new neighbor, so I bought the house without. I bought the house next door to them, so that I didn't have to have a bad neighbor.
Totally get it. Been there.
Yeah.
So then we did a little, I mentioned promoted or demoted segment. Henry gets off stage. We had an open Q&A, which was great to like hear from the audience.
Yep.
And then Ross and I, of course, forgot to wrap up.
We forgot to wrap up. We're like, okay, thanks everyone.
And we stood.
Instead of our classic, as always, thanks for joining us here on Demoted. Like, comment, subscribe.
Totally. And just like, thank you for being here. Like we're done.
We're just
we
done.
We just walked off.
We're done.
We're like,
we felt the
bye.
heat. We're like, this is going slightly long. We knew, I think the total runtime was like an hour 25.
Yeah.
We wanted to be like an hour 10.
Yep. I was
But
like, we gotta go.
we gotta get outta here.
I hate like butts in seats. I'm like, let's go drink.
Yeah,
You guys
let's
get
party.
out of here. Let's party.
Yeah.
And so then we kind of forgot to wrap, walked off stage, and then we got to meet all our fans after. And
Yeah, and it was
we
great.
sprayed some champagne.
We sprayed
It was
some champagne.
It was fun.
Used a saber.
Of
broke the
course.
glass.
We both broke the glass.
Yeah.
Mine hit Eli in the face.
Yep.
The cameraman.
Then he dropped the camera and
then
exploded.
It was just a whole
It
thing.
was a real mess, but it was fun. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our learnings from this show because it was far from perfect. It was a great first run.
I thought, yeah, for our first one, great.
Really well received.
And we're just so hard on ourselves. Like we're always going to try to find the negative.
Right. We go to the back room and we're like, all right, what could we have done better? Instead of just being like, let's enjoy this night. Like, this was so fun. We're just like kind of straight faced, like, all right, business done.
We're looking at Beck and Annie. We're like, seriously, where did we go wrong?
Yeah.
They're like, it was honestly really good.
Like people were dying the whole time. Like, yeah. Okay, fine. Duh. But like, what did we fuck up?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
need to talk
Okay.
about this.
Shut up. What was bad?
Yeah.
Which is just horrible of
It's
us.
just
We
not
can't
the right way
just
to
like
do it.
live in the moment.
I know. I know.
But truly, like, I think besides these kind of production errors, which I'll call them errors. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there were some like production
issues. There were, like some things you can control for, some things you can't. I mean, at the end of the day, the content itself, I thought really shined, which was great. I thought Henry came off awesome. I thought he was super cool, super approachable, super funny.
Totally.
Actually.
Really funny.
Really funny.
He talked about his mom.
Read that email from
Read
his
that
mom.
email from his mom who was like, you need to get Botox.
Yeah.
And she has this like thick Persian accent and he read it in her accent. And it was great.
It was so funny.
We'll play that right now.
Do you get Botox?
I don't get Botox, but my mom texted me on Saturday. My mom's from Iran, so I'm going to do this with an accent. And here's what she texted me.
You're allowed to.
We won't.
We aren't.
Yeah,
So-
totally. I
You
get
do
it. I
the
won't get
accent.
canceled for making my
I'm gonna
mom's
restrain you.
accent. So she wrote me on Saturday. This is what she said. Maybe you should get some fillers and Botox. You see Jessica, she looks great. I'm your mom. Don't get mad at me, Henry. Your face getting too much wrinkles. Take care of yourself. I love you so much. I don't want to see what's happening to you. And then she said, why not these days? Men are getting their face taken care of more than women. Wrinkles bother me so much.
But yeah, I mean, again, it's like there's so many little details that go into a live event. Made me respect events managers a little bit more because I'm usually, I think we're both used to getting the mic, getting on stage, and then getting off, and that's all it is.
Totally.
But when you talk about like the food and beverage and where people are going to sit and how the screens are going to work behind you is funny. The NASDAQ building, which is where we did it, it looks like one screen, but I guess it's 40 computer monitors.
Yep.
And one of the monitors was out. So there was just a black rectangle.
Production manager comes to the back and he's like, okay, so one of the screens is out. We're like, totally fine. Which one is it? Oh, middle center.
Middle.
It's gonna be middle.
So like, what are you going to do about that? They had a tech person there that we can't fix it. Okay. So we shifted the logo over a little bit.
Logo's just flying up, right?
Logo's flying. We were supposed to play our intro video, the one that you see on YouTube, and when you hear the music, dun, 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 dun.
Yep.
Like we
didn't
said,
play.
never play.
Lights on.
Lights were on.
And like,
Microphone's not working.
There is something to be said of like a live show in itself is really difficult as the talent and as people with the mics. Like it is really hard to go up and everyone's looking at you and like make me laugh.
Yeah.
Like
Dance clown.
that pressure is a lot.
Yeah.
And I think we handle it quite well.
Yeah.
It becomes really stressful really fast when these elements are not under control. Right. And like no knock on like ZoomInfo or NASDAQ or anything. Like I understand these things happen. I do think it made us like a little nervous and like Ross's mic isn't working. Like that's a huge issue.
Like
right?
how hot you start is super important. You want to come out with a bang. I always, talk about like the beginning, how you start and how you end is like the most important. What do people feel when you walk out?
And we totally like beginning and end, arguably the worst.
Arguably the worst parts.
Yeah.
The middle was definitely with Henry was the best part. I said, what's a Motorheads? How many of you, are Motorheads? And my mic wasn't working. So we got two like, woo. And I was like, oh shit, nobody here knows who we are.
Well, so then we, of course, go into like our improv bits of like, oh, okay, we got to rework the whole show. No one knows what a motorhead is, whatever. And we're like bidding, and it actually totally worked.
Totally worked.
But then we look back on it, we're like, wait, they actually just couldn't hear.
Because I had some friends there who were like, we didn't hear you ask that question. Like, we didn't know. They were like, until it was too late, we didn't realize, because we would have been like, whoa.
Totally.
But we didn't hear
So then
it.
we're starting off cold. We're like, oh God, no one knows us. Like, we're actually reworking things on the fly in our brain to like be like, okay, let's like lean out of that bit and whatever. And so it's a little stressful, but I think we handled it quite well. I think I'm excited to see. We haven't actually seen like the footage or the audio. Like,
we've just heard some of the laugh tracks. You know, when I say laugh tracks, I mean real people laughing. They do sound like laugh tracks. They're really good. I think one of the things I hope to do better. And again, I think when you come out, like you said, with issues right out the gate, it makes it a little bit hard. But I was telling you this earlier today. It's like I was looking around, but I wasn't seeing anything. It was like my eyes were going to people. My eyes, I was looking at you, but you know, sometimes we make eye contact.
Looking through me.
I was looking through you. Yeah, because I was almost, acting is not the right word, but trying to stay very composed. And so it wasn't as easy to react and feel as natural, because I was like, what are people are looking at me? What am I doing?
Yeah, which is so funny, because then people come up to us after and they're like,
okay, I'm getting a shrimp alert.
Oh,
I was probably shrimping.
alert.
I was probably shrimping at
you were
the live show.
You were definitely shrimping at the live show.
But I was like swag shrimping. I was like leaning out. I was like,
no, you were super swag.
I was just like, and I was holding the microphone.
I was kind of looking at you.
I'm
like, you were total douchebag bro vibe. I was like, hang on, who is this man? I don't know him. Like, did I do something? Is it something I said? You're like,
holy shit,
what's up? What's up?
What's good? Yeah, I know. That's when I default. When I get nervous, I go right to douche mode.
Right to chill douche mode.
Right to chill douche mode.
That's so funny, actually.
Yeah.
I do think this was really positive for the ZoomInfo community.
Yeah.
For Henry's brand, for us as like proving to ourselves that we can totally do this live show format, and we're excited about going on the road and meeting you guys and making this a bigger thing.
Yeah, I mean, every time we do this, we're going to get a little bit better. We're going to be doing it again here. You know, obviously, if your company wants us to come in, we're happy to do it. You know, it's not just CEOs. We call it the leadership series for a reason, because it's
whoever has the best personality, put him up there with us.
Please.
You're head of IT. We don't have to do him.
We do not have to do him. You know, if he's funny, maybe why not? But yeah, at the end of the day, it was a great first run. I'm super proud of the work we put into it. And I think this could be something we do at South by Southwest. There's something we could do at Dreamforce. There's a lot of different ways and different pieces and multimedia that we can add to it.
Yeah.
So
it's weird. Marky B was actually hitting our line after we did this.
Like,
Benioff was like, I want to do this with you guys.
And we're like, you're not ready.
Mark, we don't have time. Like, we're busy. We already booked up the Cal.
Yeah.
Like,
sorry,
you're
dude.
not ready.
You're not ready. You're not ready. He's just not ready. But when he's ready, we'll have him on.
We'll make sure he's good and ready. Our producer wrote some questions for us.
FAQs, if you will.
FAQs on the
Frequently
live
asked
show.
by our producer.
Frequently asked questions by our producer, who planned and executed the full event.
Yeah.
Let's run through these just for you. If you're curious, like, what is the live show and why? What's my role in this?
Yeah, right. Will the live show advance my career?
Like, that's the first FAQ, obviously.
First FAQ, and the answer is obviously yes.
Of course, you're going to get a promotion. You're going to get a raise.
Yep.
You're going to walk out of there.
You're going to rub shoulders with the executives.
Totally.
People are going to see how good of like your humor is, and that's going to humanize you.
Absolutely. You're going to learn some tips. We actually do like a Dear Demoted. We give some advice live.
We give live advice.
And our goal is to have it be actually from someone in the crowd, but TBD on the confidence to grab the mic.
Yeah, exactly.
The next question is, how badly will you burn my CEO?
Badly. We'll burn him. We'll burn the shit out of him.
Burn him at the stake.
But tastefully.
Yes.
We will tastefully burn them, you know, and give them a chance to respond and kind of, you know, be the human that they are. They know they get criticism. That's the role. That's the job of a CEO. That's the job of any leader, is like endure the criticism, make tough choices, so on and so forth. So most of them understand that that's the game.
I like what you said, and I'm taking your quote. Ross said this, making it like a two-dimensional godlike being, this, you know, C-suite executive, into like a three-dimensional human.
Which they all are.
Right.
There's a human behind the suit.
Yep.
You know, and we want to pull them out, and that's essentially what we did with Henry, and he was friggin' awesome.
Pull their suit off and watch them stand there naked.
Yep.
That's kind of what we do.
That's the goal. All right. Will I get an opportunity to participate?
Yes, you will.
Yes, you will.
We mentioned those promoted or demoted signs. You will get to share your opinion. If you disagree with us and we're sitting in these beanbags on promoted and demoted, please share. We're going to have a Q&A.
Yep.
If you have a question to ask us, you're burning.
Feel free.
Feel free.
Feel free. We get submissions beforehand. That's our goal, is to crowdsource some questions. If there's no good ones, we're not going to use them, because if you guys ask stupid questions, we're not going to give you.
Yeah, and if you want to hoot and holler and just say something, we're ready. We're ready to receive. Don't be a heckler, but feel free to jump in.
Or be a heckler and watch us just tear you apart.
Totally.
We will.
We will.
We're already paid. We get paid up front.
Tread
by
lightly.
the way.
Tread lightly.
Just so you know.
Yeah. The next question is, will HR be there?
We cannot confirm nor deny whether or not HR will be there.
Yeah.
That's totally up to every company.
That's up to every company. Our hope is that they be kind of corralled in a little pen in the back.
Preferably 7 to 8 miles away from the venue.
Yep. Out of the way, out of eye shot, definitely out of earshot.
Yes, definitely out of earshot.
But
corporate comms, PR, we can't, again, we don't know. It's sort of company by company.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the more they let us do our thing, which is what we're good at, the better it's going to come off.
But all you HR people, we welcome you with open arms.
We welcome you.
Come to the Demoted Live Show.
Just shut your dang mouth. Okay. Are my followers allowed to attend? And is there a special area for the salespeople?
There is actually a special area. We call it the pit.
We call it the pit.
Right. And so they have to sit on the floor, actually, crisscross applesauce.
It's kind of like a gulag.
Like all the SDRs are kind of trapped in the gulag.
Yeah, they don't get chairs, obviously, because they're peasants.
Yeah. And so there is a special area kind
Yeah.
of crowd. They also stink. They're all men.
They stink, and it's a lot of Bud Light, a lot of Coors Light.
Totally. They're like, they're slapping the bag.
They're slapping bag.
That's actually, you're allowed to drink in that area.
You are.
And it's actually a smoking area too.
It's like VIP if VIP was a literal pig pen.
It was with cigs. Yeah.
That's the dream.
Obviously we're joking. Of course, we want our followers to interact.
Yeah.
They're making babies,
Yeah,
as
they're
we
making babies.
said. So there's no gulag / pen. I do hope one day there can be.
There's no VIP area yet, but yeah, God willing, next venue there will be.
The next question, what should my pregame routine be? We spoke to ours. What should yours be?
I would recommend pre-gaming the pregame. I mean, we had open bar. We had
our drinks too.
We had our own drinks.
Yeah, Corporate Nat Cosmo.
Yeah, and Corp Bros Manhattan.
Yep.
Capital MAN.
And the CEO Henry had his own drink, which is of course a Diet Red Bull vodka.
A Diet Red Bull vodka,
mentioned.
which we tried not to push on anyone. But yes, we had a lot of friends who came to this. They went to a bar beforehand, pre-gamed, then came and then pre-gamed there.
Lube it up.
I mean, it was a rowdy crowd. It was a very rowdy crowd.
I think it's
It
fun
was
that way
awesome.
too. We did it on a Friday night, which we're still toying around with the idea of like, do we do this during the day? Could we do this on another night? But because it was a Friday night, and if we do other Friday night shows, like let's have some fun. We're drinking.
Yeah.
Like, let's hang out.
It was basically happy hour, but extended happy hour.
Totally.
So it was awesome. All right. What is the ROI on this thing?
This is the last FAQ. And I mean, we've spoke to it a bit here, but we want to benefit as much from this as we want your CEO to benefit, as we want your employees who are watching this to benefit. We think it's like a really valuable offering that like really humanizes the CEO.
It helps bridge the gap between employees and employer. It also helps sort of create this ethos of transparency and levity. And I don't know, work is hard, and there's a lot of BS that happens on a day-to-day basis. And we love to rag on CEOs, and don't get me wrong, I'm still going to keep ragging on CEOs. That's what they're there for. But just a fun opportunity to get together and laugh at the stupid shit we go through on a day-to-day basis. I think that's why our content works on social media. I think it's why it works on Demoted. That's why I think it works for the live show.
Yeah. And I think we like love meeting you all, of course, the Motorheads, but like,
Motorheads,
I think there's nothing more fulfilling in my career. And I think I can speak for both of us here than like meeting the people whose lives we impact in some small way with our videos, right? It's the best.
I have a little folder on my computer because we've talked about this on here. I go through ups and downs real hard.
Yeah.
So when I need to go look at a little love note, I have some screenshots of things people have said to me. And I needed to read this again.
I actually will say two girls met me at the meet and greet and said I was shorter and skinnier in person.
That's incredible.
And I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
I get to see another day.
The last piece I'll say is what I love about this is the opportunity to get content, like raw content.
Yeah.
From both sides. Like Henry had some incredible answers. I hope and expect ZoomInfo will share those at some point. We're going to get some hilarious roasting content that we'll share on our Instagram and so forth at some point.
We're going to get a trailer that's going to make your jaw drop.
Right. We're going to get a crazy trailer, but I think people spend so much time trying to produce and make this like well thought out, I'll say overly produced content. I'm guilty of it. But at the end of the day, when we do something super raw like this and it's just truly authentic laughing in a moment that you can't script.
Yeah.
It's incredible and super valuable.
Nothing better.
I'm stoked about that.
So if you're at a company where you think, hey, my CEO would be great at this. Like I want to be a part of this. Maybe we could do this at my company. Please reach out to contact@demotedpodcast.com.
Yep. CEOs or otherwise, I should say. Not just CEOs.
Any leader in your company.
Somebody in a leadership position, manages a bunch of people, makes a bunch of decisions.
Yep.
Hit us up. We're open to exploring it. So, we're going to continue doing the podcast just like this. We may bring on guests later down the road, but right now we're still really working and workshopping this live show.
Yep. So I hope you enjoyed our little live show recap and tune in next week on
Demoted.
Demoted.